Hey y'all, and welcome to PolitiBrawl. My name is Brian, and we all know that the pro-Palestine rioters are just deeply deluded. We all know that they're probably communists, and this clip will prove that out. But what we don't know is there is a narrative tide that is slowly turning. Because this black man in Union Square, Chicago, carries an American flag. I believe he's a veteran, and he bravely carries that flag, gets harassed by this crowd, while simply saying the phrase, America first. This is something that you really need to see, and I'll tell you why it's important. But first, I want to shout out over to our friends and sponsors at Native Path, whose fantastic array of things like collagen will help your health in this modern era, but more on that later. Now, let's get into the video.
Genocide, Joe, shame on you! Husbands die because of you!
America first!
Husbands die because of
Put your
you!
nation and your people first! Put your nation and your people first! My nation and my people first! My nation and my people first!
On genocide now in schools!
Do it by yourself! Do it!
No fun genocide now in schools!
What's your problem? What's my problem?
Everyone get back! Everyone in the rally, please! Everyone stay in the rally, please! Do not follow agitators!
You know what the delegates did? They walked right past her.
Everyone stay in the rally, please!
Chicago and Detroit and replace
Free, free Palestine!
Why are we putting this first and not our nation? Why are we not talking about the issues
Free,
going on in our
free
community?
Palestine!
What's entitled, selfish,
يا جماعة لو سمحتوا ما تعترضوا أي حد من اللي بيجي الأجيتيترز لو سمحتوا خليهم يروحوا ويجوا كأنهم مش موجودين لما نحن عليهم نعطيهم أهمية كثير بليز let them go. احنا رسالتنا للدي ان سي مش لهدول هدول بس اجيتيترز جايين بس يعملوا مشاكل لو سمحتوا ما تتجمعوا عليهم خليهم يدخلوا ويروحوا بدون ما حدا يتجمع عليهم that's what they want. Please.
I love my goddamn country. Don't you ever come to me and say that I'm a fucking disgrace to my people. Who the fuck are you? Did you serve? Did you do anything? No, you didn't. Go serve black people like I do.
Free, free Palestine!
Helping out black people in Detroit.
Free, free Palestine!
Go help out black people than I do. You look like me.
What does the DNC stand for?
America first.
I've never, ever heard of a communist-style rally, which, by the way, if you listen closely, you would have heard a reference to comrade. So, yes, these people are quite literally communists, for some weird reason. As a matter of fact, there's a weird historical precedent for Islam and communism that blends together, and it never works. They tried it in Iran. What happened immediately afterwards? They cut off all the communist heads and sent them back to the sent back the bodies in bags. They did the exact same thing in Afghanistan. They combined with the far right governments of Islam, overthrew the normal governments, and those nations haven't been the same ever since. So there's this weird bond between the two, and it's because of the idea of being oppressed. And that really explains why these protesters think that they're doing something good. They see the Palestinian people and they see someone who is oppressed. That's the worst possible take you can have. Hey y'all, I wanted to give a quick shout out to our new sponsors, Native Path. Created by Dr. Chad out of Austin, Texas, he realized that there was something deeply wrong in this medical community. And instead of focusing on nutrition, they were just focused on serving Big Pharma. So he left and created this new company called Native Path. And what do they do over there? They sell something called collagen. Now, what is collagen? Well, it's not magic fairy dust. It's not this muscle milk. It's not calcium rich. Instead, it is an odorless, flavorless, dissolves completely in water powder that you can mix. And unlike iocane powder, this stuff has massive health benefits. It can help your bones, your joints, your ligaments, your skin, your hair follicles, even your fingernails. This stuff is absolutely packed with the nutrients that we lose so constantly in our modern diet. This stuff is a fantastic supplement, can help you live a healthier life. And if you go to this link down here below, you will find up to 45% off of certain products. That is how much Native Path cares about your health. So go check them out, link in the description below. And now, back to regularly scheduled programming. Let me put it to you this way. I've said this before, but I love bringing up this example. Imagine that you are on a small spit of land on the road, and you own a falafel sandwich stand. Now, your ingredients are delicious. You have that great blue cheese, all the different kind of dressings and sauces. The falafel itself is good. The chickpeas are correctly fried. And even the red cabbage is good. It's good for you. It's good to you. It's delicious. And it's cheap. But the people who actually own that land aren't the Palestinians. It's the British. The British had it by conquest. And so the British, after World War II, said, you know what, we're going to develop this land. And so they did. So they bring in a new building where they make an even better falafel sandwich, because that stand has one big flaw. You have to eat it with your bare hands, and that falafel sandwich leaks. Well, guess what this new place does? They don't leak. Their ingredients are the same. They make it at the same price. It is just as delicious, but the sandwiches don't leak, and there are more people now working there. So if you have that stand, what do? Well, you have three options. You can, 1, move. 2, you can petition and say, hey, can I please work for this place since this is an inevitability? Do you mind if you hire me here and we can work things out together? Or you can sabotage it. Well, they didn't move. They've refused to work together, and so they keep on sabotaging the new business. That is essentially the problem. And so the new business then takes the money that it's earned and now hires security to protect it against sabotage. Well, they finally managed to get inside the building. They sabotaged the deep fryer. It exploded everywhere. People were hurt. And now they're actually having to deal and prosecute the problem. That is quite literally the Israel versus Palestine dilemma. And yet we have people here cheering on the saboteurs. And it's all because they see these saboteurs as oppressed and they have no other option. Yet peace is always an option. All right? Peace is always an option. And peace is still an option. But it requires 2 to tango. And it seems that 1 never wants to dance. But ultimately, the thing I really want to talk about here is that there was a black man who came up to this young black man who I believe has served in the armed forces, who believes in the American ideals. He believes in this flag. He's waving it around, simply saying the phrase, America first. We need to take care of our own country. And since he's a veteran, that means he knows how veterans are actually treated by the U.S. government. So yeah, I don't blame him for wanting to shout out America first. He wants the America that he was promised as a kid. Compare that to the older black man. See, I think a huge narrative is changing. Thanks to moving to the suburbs, thanks to assimilation, and thanks to just generations of people who are getting over their traumas, but just as importantly, thanks to this. Surprisingly, thanks to things like TikTok and YouTube that now normalize people across racial lines. And I believe this man has grown up in that era. Compare that to the older gentleman who still sees himself as oppressed because he hasn't taken the opportunities that America has given him. And he is now, I think he's wearing a yarmulke. This guy might be what's the phrase for it? Not a black Jew, not a black Zionist. They have there's this weird sect. I've met one of them. He was trying to turn his life around though, so good for him. He was an awesome dude. He was an awesome guy to work with. But his belief system was just kind of weird. And so this dude still thinks of himself as oppressed. Compare that to the black man who's waving around an American flag. A narrative is shifting amongst young people. They want the America that they were promised as a kid, where streets were still paved with gold, that you still had the great American dream, where you could still have a white picket fence, own your own home, 2.5 kids, and a dog. Not to mention 1, maybe even 2 cars out in the driveway. That is the old America ideal, and it's slipping away. And the kids know it, I know it, and I think you know it. So I think that's what's really going on here. And it is something that is a long time coming. Folks, my name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed that segment here on PolitiBrawl. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one, and until then, y'all have a good one.